Okay, guys, we are back. Sorry about that. We just had some little techie issues going on at the moment here as well. Bear with us as we do get this back up and running. Apologies if everybody's just sat there and wondered what went on. It went blank. Not a lot's happened at the moment. We've got a DNF for Risto, Corpi, Dimarzo, Enrique, Gilles Lalonde, Dave Cors and Eric. Alex Garrick has been disqualified. So we are, unfortunately, we've lost Garrick. We're not sure on the full details of the disqualification. We haven't given the full notice as to why he's been DQ'd there as well. Now, as you can see, let's give you a rundown in the process. All right, we've got Dan Kirby out in front. He's on the wet tyres. Last lap around 132.535 for Kirby. Brian Hall is on the soft tyres and doing a 133.433. So he is slower. Takahashi's flying in the wets as well. He is currently leading the LMGT1 AMS with Hutchinson and Ely. Ely was caught in no man's land, went into the pits unfortunately on lap 40, and as she changed to the hard tyres, she also ended up, it come down and started raining. So Ely didn't make that change. Last time out, 138.578. She's on the intermediates, I believe, at the moment, or might be actually still on the hard. So struggling for Becky Ely there, Paul, as well. Tough one for her altogether. Not an ideal scenario. Please don't tell me. Go in. Go in. Go in. Go in. Doesn't go in.
Yeah. I thought it said that there was an off track, but I didn't quite. It didn't show me one. So yeah. Not quite.
Bear with. And we are back. Yes, Phil, we are. Sorry, Sorry, Mr. Reese. For some reason, we lost the feed and everything else went a little bit wrong.
Yeah, we just everything just dropped for some reason. Yeah, it never happened before. So first time for everything.
And Paul's the one giving my Sparrow internet a loads of grief.
Who says it's internet? It might have been local network. It could have been my PC itself. So I'd have to investigate what happened.
Yeah, your new Italian fibre optic or whatever it was you announced on Twitter. Who was it you're with?
My internet didn't drop, but it did have a bit of a spike. So I can see that. Yeah.
Well, there you go. So yeah. Fibre optic.
Anyway, just jealous. Carry on.
I am. Right, Kirby, Hall, Dahlgren, Funk. There's no real close battles at the moment either. We're kind of in that.
Ethan's not too far away from Magnus, if you think about it. He's only two seconds up the road.
Yeah, not. I'm thinking like within a second.
He was 35. He was 35 seconds faster last. Sorry, 5 seconds faster last time around for some reason. So.
Yeah, even Funk and Dahlgren though, they're not.
It's a second now.
Yeah, they're not doing great times at the moment.
No, but it's a battle, isn't it? Because he's now within a second of him.
Yeah, Ethan Funk chasing down Dahlgren here. Let's see what this one's on hards, one's on softs here. So both of these guys could end up coming together. There is Magnus Dahlgren in that GT1. Kirby's still out. Kirby's now in the pits as well. Ely's back in the pits again, back on the wet tyres, Paul.
Yeah.
Dumped him.
Yeah, I think that, well, you could argue that should have been done sooner, really. But, I mean, now P4 in class, so has really lost out. But yeah. George isn't that far ahead now, and he was P2, so he's clearly got into the pits because at some point, whilst we were having our technical issues, so he's fallen back. But I mean, he's had a really good race so far. So currently, Wayne Hutchison is leading the way in that class. Yeah,
that's the thing with Ely. I'm wondering. There is a massive amount of difference here. Dahlgren is just about to get done by Funk, I think, round the outside of turn one. He's got Dahlgren on there as well. He's pushed Dahlgren onto the wet side of the circuit, and that's not an ideal scenario for Dahlgren. Soft tyres. He couldn't get that car stopped, and Funk does make it through on the hards at the moment. So Kirby stays on the wets.
I'm really surprised by that. Are you? Because you think like in these conditions, the hards would struggle. Because he's on the hards and he's on the softs. So Magnus is on the softs. So you wouldn't expect it to be that way round, would you? You wouldn't, would you?
No, I guess not. Really, but it seemed as soon as Dahlgren got out onto the wet stuff, he couldn't stop it. I think that was the thing. Funk chucked him out onto the rain, didn't he?
Yeah.
Oh no. Oh.
Oliver Day spinning around.
And Day has had a day to forget. Let's put it that way for Oliver Day. Not gonna lie. So I think Oliver Day there as well. What has Ross Smith been up to?
Same thing. T1.
So, yeah, T1, no brakes. Ross Smith as well. He's on the hards. I think you've got to dump off these tyres with now 5% rain at the moment. And to be honest, I would be looking at getting these off. It was, I'm wondering, though, when we were talking about Becky Ely in the pits and she went onto the hard tyres, it started raining then. Do you think, like within iRacing, for instance, the drivers can swap tyres while they're still in the pits? Do you think?
Can't do that in R-Factor 2, I don't think, no.
Okay. I was wondering, that was all. Brian Hall on the softs, Ethan Funk on the hards, got John Uyan on the wets now. He's just gone into the pits. Who are we looking at now? Is that Torrance?
Yes.
It is. Oh, sir.
That's one way of trying to take the corner.
Yeah, Torrance is having a torrent time here.
Nicely done.
Thank you very much for that. And Peter Myers out on the intermediates.
That's not a bad choice in tyre, is it? Really?
No. Torrance has also not got a window wiper running here as well, so can he actually see anything?
Good question.
Peter Myers got the intermediates on at the moment.
Leading the class as well, the GT2s. Anyway, yeah.
I think to be fair, that was expected from Peter Meyer, right? He's out in front. He's out in front by miles. To be honest with you, he's sitting there 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 wins here as well. The only one he didn't win was the Hungaro Ring and the 2 hours of Daytona Beach. So for Peter Meyer, I think you can safely say he's probably the AM champion, Paul.
Yeah, I agree. Becky Ely is catching Wayne Hutchinson at quite some rate last time around, so I suspect Wayne had an issue in sector 1 last time around by looking at the sector time. So got that little battle in the bottom right hand corner of your screen.
Yeah, 3-minute lap time. I'd probably say there was an issue, wouldn't you?
Yeah,
with 3-minute lap time there for Hutchinson. Ely's closing in now as well, 1.8 seconds here. Becky Ely in that Golf Racing McLaren F1 GTR course.
So easy, wasn't it?
In the middle.
Weren't
Job
even
done
there.
for Ely.
Weren't even there.
Yeah. Easily done. Wow, great job from Becky Ely. So that moves her up into 9th overall, 4th in class at the moment still over there as well. So Becky Ely still in 4th. She's
going faster than George is at the moment, but Yuki is last time around was a couple of seconds quicker. So and he's currently leading the class. So also in the McLaren F1.
Definitely. Interesting thing. We're coming into the last, what have we got? 16 laps here as well. Takanashi out in front in the AMS. Is he going to be able to hold on though? Because he hasn't looked the strongest one in class. I think a lot of Takanashi is, I don't want to say luck, but being on the right tyre choice at the right time.
Is that luck or is that not reading the changing conditions?
Yeah,
Because when it happens in in real
going that way.
motorsport, people go, "Oh, he did really well by working out what tyre he needs to be." Right? No one ever calls it luck. But I think there is a degree of luck, of course. But
did he work it out though, or does he have an engineer working it out?
oh, I don't know. You'd have to ask him.
All right.
You'd have to ask him.
Oh, blimey. All right, bully boy. Oh, there we go. Oh, Becky Ely literally half a second behind at Wayne Hutchinson, still pulling in here as well. We've got Ross Smith on the intermediates, Peter Meyer on the intermediates, everybody else on full wets, of course. GT2s are the only ones with that ability to go on to the intermediates. There is Becky Ely, there is Wayne Hutchinson. I don't think it's going to be long here.
It's got back markers as well.
Yeah, Torrance in there as well, unfortunately. So what's Becky Ely going to be? Oh. Well, that was nearly game over for both of them there, Paul. Big old slide from Becky Ely.
It was, yeah, really big slide. Definitely touched there. And got some slower cars up ahead as well, which is going to make this even more interesting. But Becky maybe just needs to get on the brakes a little tad earlier. She's clear that she's got some decent pace at the moment, and it's challenging conditions for needs to kind of get that car slowed down a little bit earlier so we don't take both of them out.
Yeah, I got benefit of Stephen Miller in front of Wayne Hutchinson there. Now, for Miller's point of view, being that, you know, you're being lapped here, and I'm not going to go on too much of a blue flag rant, but, you know, let them through. Thank you very much. Makes me a happy man when that happens. And there we go. Becky Ely still chasing down Wayne Hutchinson. Have we lost Mr. Paul Glover?
No, I'm still here.
Okay.
Just doing a replay for you.
Is that Maya?
Yeah. Goes in a bit deep.
He does. And he is on the intermediates, mind you.
Yeah.
Overton's on the full wets in that class. Torrance is in the full wets as well. Maya...
He did his best lap. He did a 1:43, but he is going purple in the sectors, but we just see him go off. So, I don't know.
There's Takahashi in the pits there. That is your leader on the LMGT1 AMS in the pits, 13 laps from the end. Is that now going to bring Angelidis into play? He's got, surely that's got to be just a little splash of dash
it is.
there.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, he's already moving. Got it wrong at some point. So George, as we can see in the bottom right-hand corner, as we just see Ross Smith go past as well in front of Yuki Takahashi.
George is in.
Oh. So then let's look at Wayne Hutchinson. So they've gone past. They've gone past. Becky Ely and Wayne Hutchinson's gone past.
Oh, Takahashi! Oh. The main screen there as well, behind Ross Smith coming up the hill. And Yuki Takahashi was generally making that a little bit more difficult.
He's gone wide.
He's off. He's off. Takahashi's off on the wets. Where's Ely and Hutchinson? They were coming up Starkeys, I believe. As well, we're trying to see if we can pick up where Ely and Hutchinson are. There they are in your bottom part. That's where Takahashi's just gone off. They are not far behind at the moment. If Takahashi makes another error here, it's going to be right in the clutches of these guys behind. You can see this LMGT1 battle is going to get very, very spicy here. If Takahashi makes another error like that, Paul, it could be them all three
Ross
ways.
is getting squeezed behind as well. Is that Ethan? I'm not sure if that's Ethan. It's because there's two cars that look exactly the same. No, it is
Same,
Ethan.
yeah.
It is Ethan. He's just got past Ross. So, yeah.
We'll bring you up here as well. Takahashi's not in the pits. Ignore the timing tower for 2 seconds on that one. I'm sure we will jump on that. Takahashi is in turn 1. Ely and Hutchinson are coming out of the final corner. They're going down into turn 1. They're now only 13 seconds back at the moment from Yuki Takahashi here. Can these guys work together and pull Takahashi in? If Takahashi makes another error, it is game over. I would say, Paul.
Yep.
Smith, Meyer, Kirby have probably wrapped these up.
Yeah, I think so too. Because Matthew Overton last time around was ever so slightly slower than Ross. Ross has had his moments off the track, but then I think it's fair to say a lot of the drivers have as well. They've been turning their cars into frequent lawnmowers. As we can see that Becky's really close at this moment.
Yeah. I think that's one of the things, though, isn't it? When we get this that quote of catching a driver is one thing, overtaking is another. We're coming into the last 11.
She's touched the wet there, all over the curb, and that just really unsettled the car.
She hit that big old puddle there as well,
Yeah,
didn't she?
she's got to be a little bit more cautious there. I get it's. Oh, look at that! Trying to put the power down. That is that is something.
Becky Ely is definitely pushing it here. Pushing it. Trying to get onto Wayne Hutchinson there as well. I know in conjunction with the championships for the AMs, it is these two at the top here. And they are separated by 15.5 points. Hutchinson, of course, here as well. But does Becky need to be working this hard?
Well, it's a racer's mentality, isn't it? You want to win everything, don't you? I know. As Ross is just. Yeah, it's just got to be careful in these conditions, right? Because Ross, any moment, could have some issues.
He could be responsible for the death, right?
Yeah, she's just got to be careful. Yeah.
He don't want to be responsible for a death of a driver in front of him now as well. So this is the moment. This is the run-in. 10 laps to go. Kirby has pretty much cemented this, right? I've got, he would take.
All day long. He's 1 lap up. So yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Takahashi's got to keep it on track. Smith, keep it on track. You won the LMGT2. Maya, you won the LGT2 AMS all day.
10 laps to go.
10 laps to go. It's now Ely Hutchinson battling out for the podium here as well. So this is where we're at here. It's been an interesting last couple of hours, to be honest, because it's been very up and down. It's been very Formula One-esque with the fact that excitement at the beginning. Then we had the what I like to call my Sunday roast sleep period.
Yeah.
And then we woke up and then we've got rain again and everybody's going off and it's all got a bit chaotic in the last 20 laps or so.
Yeah, it has. You can see, watching the onboards and even the trackside cameras, you can just see that Wayne Hutchinson in T1 just struggled for grip. And then Becky just got that a little bit closer but was unable to really take advantage of that. And I think we've seen kind of repeated that throughout the race. And also it's clear that Becky's being a lot more greedy on the curbs than Wayne is. Which I think is a very risky tactic in these conditions, and we nearly saw her a moment ago as we went through this chicane last time. So let's just see. It still gets a little bit of wobble on, but definitely takes a better line that time round. But then again, it's like nearly in the back of him again, and then has to take kind of action. And I think they've got a faster car behind them as well that's caught up. Is that Magnus?
Yeah, I think that could be Dahlgren.
No, it's not. No, it's
No,
not.
it's the other one, Timon Suvic.
Timon Suvic.
Yeah, I think that's Suvic behind him. It is Suvic behind him. So Suvic is basically, this is for an on-track position. This isn't for a class position, but this is Timon Suvic's on-track position here as well. If he can clear Becky Ely and Wayne Hutchinson, he will take 7th overall.
Well, there is a bit of a gap that's just sort of opened up between the two of them at the moment. Something must have happened while we were just trying to work out who. I can see that Peter Meyer's been off the track again at some point. We won't show it again. We won't show him again going off track.
No, he's had a bit of a problem, but then again, he's still leading the class by a lap. So, unfortunately for Becky Ely, that car's getting very loose. All right, she's just wrapped the power down again, and unfortunately, the car's spun up again here. So she's going to have to be a little bit more careful coming into the last 8, because one mistake, and A, it could cost her the 2nd place, and B, you really don't want to be taking out your competitor that's in the championship with you, to be honest. Not an ideal look, should we say?
No, been there in the past with real racing, real life, racing series, haven't we? And then people start to ask questions. But yeah, it's I'm finding it interesting that Timon's not really made too much inroads. Maybe he's just waiting patiently because he's not really racing for much, and just thinking I don't want to get involved in this.
In hindsight, though, there's no real reason for him to get involved.
No,
is
there
there?
isn't. No.
He's not going to catch Funk up the road at the moment. There's a completely different class battle. And I think there's just no need for Suvic to really try and do that. I think he's got like 18 seconds to Funk. So he knows in the last 8 he's not going to catch him. So for Suvic, I think, keep pace with these guys, cover him off, but I wouldn't push the situation for the AMs and the pros, to be honest. I'd let them get on with it. Becky Ely's got to keep it a little bit more civil. And I say that in the nicest possible way, because she has missed a few braking points, nearly missed the back of Hutchinson's car. There's been a lot going on for Becky Ely. So, hit your braking points, nail it every single time as we go on to the nose here.
Oh, goes a little bit deep there, loses a lot of speed.
Yeah, it's just, that's what I mean. I think it's just overdriving that McLaren. There's no real need for it, is there?
No, there isn't.
Not this late in the game.
No, but then I always find in that hairpin, she always seems to catch him. Sort of closes the gap. I think she feels really comfortable at this point, this part of the circuit. But it's up to the chicane where she seems to struggle. And even here, there's a wiggle on, trying to get the power down. And you can see the sprays just getting stronger now as the rain continues to come down.
Yeah.
And it's just, you want to stay away from those curbs as much as possible because they just get slippery in these kind of conditions. So let's just ride on board and slightly different line there. But it's one of these things where you probably feel like you're faster than the car ahead, and once you get past, you might better set faster lap times. But I mean, they're both getting a wriggle on, aren't they?
You don't want to be doing that. There's being fast, right? And but there's being fast and making mistakes. And at the moment, they're both doing it. But Hutchinson's kind of surviving a little bit more better than Ely is. We've seen them both going deep. We've seen them both do massive slides.
That was much better that time around.
Yeah.
But Wayne's faster at that particular point because he opens up the gap, and then here she just seems to be able to close it up again.
But doesn't make an inroad over the rest of the lap. And that's the problem, isn't it?
That is the problem. But that Mercedes does seem to have really good pulling power.
And the McLaren, we didn't see it that time. Normally the back end's going a little bit sliding around there. So, yeah. I think this could be an interesting last 6 here as well. Torrance, stay there. Thank you. That lost Ely some time there as well. She had to tighten up that exit on 1. Couldn't open up that McLaren steering. Unfortunately, just kind of was stuck between a rock and a hard place. This is Brian Hall we're watching at the moment, with Ross Smith in front of him, of course. Ross there as well with a Marcos LM600. And Brian Hall does make it through quite easily. Was, I'm not going to say the main protagonist of the Maya train wreck. I think that's the only way to put it there, Paul. But he definitely had an upper hand involved with that, with Peter Meyer, that caused that massive incident earlier on.
Yeah, he did. But I'm just bringing it to attention that he's catching John Ewan at the moment. The gap is slowly but surely coming down, so we're going to see a battle for class. I think overall P2 in the race. Yeah, that was a bit of a mess earlier on, wasn't it? You know, it's just a case of one driver not giving the other driver enough room. But Brian did hit the apex. I think it was the car on the outside, wasn't it?
Maya, wasn't it?
Yeah,
Peter
they
Meyer
kind of
sort of
just sort of went, I'm ahead. That's my bit of track. And unfortunately, cars don't become invisible. You can't just go through them. So,
yes.
if I was the stewards, I know where I'd be pointing the blame on that one.
Yeah, you can't, unfortunately, Harry Potter them out the way, dear sir, can we? So, yeah, not an ideal scenario there, but hey, we'll see what the stewards come up with. Hall now 1 second back from Uyan as well. Brian Hall, there's Uyan in front, I believe, in that R390.
Correct?
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
So this is another battle with 4 to go here. Could be defining of who's where on the podium at the moment.
Yeah. As he goes to look down, make a move into T1. I think this is going to be relatively easy for him. I think he's already passed. No, he's going to go around the outside. They give each other plenty of room, but the problem is that John was always going to move out, because the grip kind of forces you out that way. There was a briefly yellow flag in sector 3 that just popped up on our screens, but that's disappeared. There's a couple of off tracks I can see, so I'll go and take a little look and see what's happened there.
And we'll go back and see here as well as we go back into a replay. Ooh. Who's that? That's the 33.
Jason Whitted.
Yeah, Jason Whitted gets it all wrong in the fog at ES's there. Unfortunately for Jason White. Oh, Torrance and his torrent time. Another man.
Same part of the track though. Same chicane.
I'm wondering, and I might sound like I'm a bit, people might look at me and think, how can that happen? But if I'm not mistaken, coming out of Coppice, that's a downhill run into the foggy.
Have a look. Oh. Slower car on the left as well, makes it tricky, runs out wide.
Funk, Uyan and Hall with Meyer coming through the hairpin there as well. Uyan's going to go at it, there's going to be contact. Oh, yes, there was. All day, baby, all day coming in there. Uyan sent it in deep on Brian Hall, and unfortunately there was contact there, Paul, but it was definitely coming.
Yeah, little bit of rub in there. We'll go back and have a little bit of a look.
Yeah, you see him send it in deep all of a sudden here as well. You can see it as he's coming up here. And there he goes, look. He sent it so far.
Yeah, he did it. And again, just keeps nudging him. I think that might be getting him back, because Brian did that. I think that might be a way of saying, hey, you don't do that to me, because he did that to him previously. He kind of nudged him out of the way. So stewards might take an interesting look at that.
You reckon?
Yeah, maybe. Depends if he files a complaint or not, doesn't it, at the end of the race.
Yeah, John Uyan there literally sending it on the up the inside of Brian Hall there. So, but then again, Brian Hall hasn't been he hasn't necessarily had a clean race, should we say. He's been involved in a few little ta-ta-tas himself. So, you know, before we go throwing stones, let's not forget that everybody's probably been involved in some point of contact at some point on this circuit, Paul, because the Donington has provided quite some interesting racing.
Yeah, and only 2 laps to go, James. So that's gone really quick today, hasn't it?
It has, very much so. So let's see. We'll pick up Dan Kirby, see where he is at the moment. He's a long way ahead. He's, you know what I mean? He's so far ahead. I think he's in a different postcode, to be honest. So, but Ely's trying to have a go at Hutchison. Looked like she nailed that chicane. Are you going to be able to bully him off the inside? If you are, there's going to be a late in the late breakers. Not this time. Got a little bit of a better exit out of that chicane this time around, though, Paul.
Yeah, did. But I don't know how much of a difference it's actually gonna make. Because it's just same again. It's kind of like rinse and repeat, isn't it? It's just, I think the Mercedes ahead just seems to have really good overall straight line pace. And you could argue that Becky actually in some of the corners looks a tad stronger, which I think is where one of the McLaren strong points, but that hasn't got the same amount of grunt. And I think just with that Mercedes engine in there, it's just able to keep ahead if keeping it on the black stuff, and has only got 2 laps now to make it. But then Ely just came in really hot there. Did you see? And the car just slid, just trying to carry a little bit too much speed. I think goes back to your point earlier on, and maybe overdriving the car ever so slightly.
Yeah, I think that's looking like a bit of a definite on that one for Ely. He just needed to probably settle down a little bit and make sure to keep the car on track. I think that's probably one of the things that they need to be looking out for as well. Keeping the car on track, doing it sensibly, but kind of doing it in control, shall we say? Control?
Yeah, control is the right word, but also the thing is that, well, when you've been following another car for a considerable amount of time, you work out where you're strong and where they're weaker, right? And then you try and work out the best point to make an overtake. I think unfortunately for Becky, where the McLaren is strong is in these corners, and you can see the different lines that she's trying to try and take advantage of that. But look at the Mercedes just opens up a gap every time, and she's never really close enough to even think about making a move. And because you've got these tricky conditions, you have to really think hard about, is it worth me trying to make that lunge? And maybe it's just a case now actually, she pushes there. But catching up another car might open up an opportunity with catching up Ross Smith, but he gets out nicely out of the way for both of them. So that opportunity doesn't happen. But maybe she just, maybe just time just to go as they're on the last lap to settle for third spot, which isn't a bad thing.
No, definitely not there as well. As you can see, Dan Kirby here is going to be coming over the line for the final. This is the final lap we are on. He's on round the right hander of Coppice at the top of the hill. Here we go now, and then we're going to be on that run down into the final chicane for the final time here. So Dan Kirby in that Nissan R390 GT1 going to go through the Fogarty S's for the final time, and has done an absolute stellar job. This man, Paul, he's in a different class, isn't he?
Yeah. I think it has been, but I think you've also got to take into account that Risto Corpi, something happened there, which kind of at the start, and he had to take a penalty, unfortunately. So it took us a little bit. I think took the battle for P1 away from us just a little bit.
I think so, but Kirby comes over the line, takes that victory. Well done to Dan Kirby. Takanashi's going to come across in the LM GT1 AMS. Is that Hutchinson? Where's Ely gone?
Hutchinson. Oh, she's.
Suvic's now in front of her as well.
She's had a moment.
Okay, 2 seconds. We'll find out what happened to Becky. Well,
hold on. Spun round. I don't quite know how that's happened. Here we go.
Too much. Oh, the wiggly back end of that McLaren. We did say, and I'm not going to lie, there was warnings there, wasn't there? There was a warning there as well for Becky Ely that this was going to happen. Takanashi taking the win in the LMGT1 AMS. We're going to have Ross Smith in the LMGT2s taking that win as well. So a great job from Ross. Well, to be fair, he did say that he might be up there, but he has in the end with Matthew Overton in second.
Yeah, I think I'd be happy with that. Matthew Overton's 75, 76 seconds back. So he hasn't just won it; he's absolutely obliterated the competition.
Yeah, he has. He's done a great job. So well done to Ross Smith there as well. And then Peter Meyer will be the last one, I believe, over the line for the LMGT2s. He's already in the pits, which means he's already finished. So let's give these guys a couple of minutes, and then we'll try and get some interviews in and as well, and we'll bring you up the final results very, very shortly. So, yeah, that was an interesting one, wasn't it, really? Dan Kirby out in front and Victor by a lap over Brian Hall. John Uyan in third, Ethan Funk fourth. Yuki Takanashi takes the win in the GT AMS. Magnus Dahlgren there as well. Wayne Hutchinson in the seventh. Timon Suvic eighth. Becky Ely in ninth and Jason Whitehead in 10th. Stephen Miller in 11th with George Angelidis, finishing 12th in the end after being in the lead of the class. Wow. Oliver Day in 13th, and then Ross Smith wins the GT2 there at GT2s with Matthew Overton in second. Peter Meyer winning the GT2 AMS with Kevin Torrance in 17th. Then we got Risto Corpi into the DNFs. Corpi, Dimarzo, Enrique, Lalonde, Core, and Alex Garrett DQ'd. We might have to do a little bit of digging on that one.
Yeah. It could be disconnect, couldn't it? I don't know. Or disqualification, but yeah. Wow, that kept us entertained, didn't it?
It definitely did, and it was always going to be interesting anyway, I think, Paul, just because of what I think, what I want to say, and I know where I'm trying to go, what Donington brings, but what it actually brings in rain, as well as multiple mixed conditions. And I think that's the thing with it as well. It gave us great racing when it was wet. Then we had that brief dry spell and we got more great racing. Then it went wet, and then we were back to rain again and people diving in. It had kind of everything here this evening.
Yeah, it did. And I think it'll be interesting to hear the kind of report from Becky afterwards. You know, she just pitted at the wrong moment, didn't she? And that seemed to kind of sort of give her a bit of a curveball for her race. And also I think it goes, I wonder, you know, like what the kind of setup that Ross was running today, because it was clear that when the track started to dry up, he started to struggle. And then when it started to rain again, he came into his element. And also, I don't know if you clocked it, but he also went on to the intermediates as well. So we had two cars in the end, I think, that were on the intermediate tyres, and it was interesting to see at one point where we had some of the cars on softs and hards, but the race leader Daniel Kirby was still able to beat their lap times while on the wets.
And he benefited from that as well, didn't he? Because he timed that just right as well. So I think for Kirby that worked out. I think it did work out for Dan Gobin. We can see that it was already a lap ahead. He didn't get caught in that decision of making it dry or what the situation was. He did manage to maintain that position. I don't think he come off the wet tyres, did he, for the whole race?
No, I don't think he did. No, not that I can recall. No.
No, I can't. Shall we have a couple of interviews in then, young sir?
Yeah, let's do that.
All right, let's start with your winner here as well. Mr. Smith, down in the LMGT2, cements his place. Yeah, it's the top of the championship there as well. Good evening, Mr. Smith. How are you?
Good. It's great to be back in here. It's been too long.
Yeah, definitely. Tricky but interesting race.
Oh my God. I mean, you saw it. It was so precarious. I mean, that had to have been entertaining for you guys, just watching how it was wet and then kind of dried out and then said, oh, by the way, I'm wet again. Hello. So it was, I mean, part of the last 10 laps, I just kept singing Annie Lennox, Walking on Broken Glass, because it was just always on the edge. I mean, like, I know that I had a gap there to Matthew, but it would just take one off and that would bring him right back into it. It was just staying on the island, staying alive by the end of it. And we had some good battle. I don't know if you saw anything of our exchanges, but we had some good back and forth. Yeah, it was a bit cheeky in spots, but it was all good fun. And it's all very exciting.
Yeah, well, we didn't completely ignore you. You know what I mean? You know, we did.
Whilst we try, yeah.
Nothing against you. I just knew that there was a lot happening in that race. So,
what I wanted to ask you, Ross, is that you look like you enjoyed the wet conditions more than the dry. Would I be right?
I generally do. However, the Marcos does not like them quite as much. It prefers a desert if it could. And probably even drier than that, just so it can melt all of its tires directly into the ground. But I'd usually do okay in the wet. But if we had a Porsche, a 993 out there in our class at all, they would have just smoked everyone, because that car is just so good in the wet and not as much else. But yeah, it was good. It was fun. I had a good time. I enjoyed being a duck.
I'm sure you did there, sir. You can go and dry your back end now as well, clearly. So, just going forward, look, to be honest with you, with no JT Tammy, is the championship out of reach? We're at Donington. You've only got 3 to go, Austria, Miami, Laguna. Can he come back, do you think?
I will never say never, because if there's a mathematical possibility, you can't count it out. And right now, I mean, I've put a good gap on him. I think I'm 22 points ahead, but I mean, that could happen where I just get dunked in one of these races and he's right there again. And in fact, Matthew Overton might be too far away at this point to be able to come back. I'd have to see what the results are, but at the very least, I feel like we're doing well, and we're in a good spot going into these final races. Rookie Monsters overall could take the championship at this point. I'm not sure what happened to Dave. I think he just something
bad
happened
day.
with the conditions.
Yeah, I think he just had a bad day at the office, to be honest. Any news on why Alex Garrett got DQ'd?
I heard that, and I couldn't tell you. The only thing I could think of is either headlights, or just because it got awfully dark, or he just had cut the track too many times and didn't realize he had a penalty to serve.
Right, okay. All right, Ross. Well, thank you so much for joining us there, bud, as well. Anyone you want to shout out before I let you go?
To Ben Borman, my wayward teammate, I hope he's able to get his life in order so he can come back and be with us, because it's always great to have him. And to you guys, of course, because you make this extra special, and we really enjoy everything you do.
Awesome stuff. Well, thank you so much there, Ross, and look forward to seeing you in Austria.
Same.
Take care. Right, now we're going to bring in Dan Kirby. Your GT1 winner was thrown a curveball at the beginning of this week with the Panos car randomly exploding, changed over to the R390, gets into the car. He takes my granny out for a drive and wins the race by a lap and a little bit. But Dan, welcome in. How are you, sir?
Yeah, I'm good, thank you.
Easy, wasn't it?
No. I mean,
Come on.
we just decided to use the Nissan like 40 minutes before qualifying. We were gonna use the McLaren, but yeah, that went a lot better than I thought it would for how short notice the car change was.
Yeah, definitely as well. You know, you didn't come off the wet tyres at all. You seemed to be on them all the way through the race. You know, made the decision to stay on the wets. We were talking up here in the booth with me and Paul. You know, there was a predominantly drive line, and you were still going quicker than the people on the hards and the softs. So, were you running wet slicks at that point?
Yeah, towards the end of the second stint, because the first stint I double stinted, and then the track was drying out a lot, and I didn't even know people were on slicks because I was checking people's fast lap times to see if people were gonna go slicks, and yeah, I just stayed on the wets, and the pace was still really good on them. I didn't even know people went slicks.
Yeah, Yeah, they did. There was a few on the hards and softs, and of course that was the few that when it came down again, you know, they literally had to jump in and get him off as quickly as possible. But for you, it seems like it was almost a perfect day. You know, win on the tires, on the right tires, all the way through the race. You didn't have to worry too much about anything. That's kind of a perfect race, right? That's what everyone dream for.
Yeah, it went really well. That's one reason why we chose this Nissan it's a really consistent car. So you can kind of just do your own thing, bang in the lap times, and just, as long as like no mistakes, stay out of trouble. And yeah, it went really, really well.
Yeah, it definitely did. Well, Dan, thank you so much for joining us there, bud. Anyone you want to give a shout out to before we let you go?
No one right now.
No one. All right, Dan. Well, thank you so much there as well. Thank you for joining us, and we'll look forward to seeing you in Austria for the historics. But we have got, I believe, the moderns first, haven't we? We are Road Atlanta on the 21st of October.
Yeah, that's gonna be fun.
Oh, well, I don't know about that one, but yep, I feel it's going to be very interesting. Dan, thank you so much there, bud. And we look forward to catching up with you soon.
Yeah, thank you.
Thanks. All right, I'm just trying to grab Becky Ely. I would love a chat.
Does she want to chat to you, though? That's the question.
Probably not. And I can't just pull her out the booth either. That's a little bit frustrating. No, just, yeah. No. Oh, well. Maybe not this week. It's quite interesting when you interview some people that won.
Just popped into the waiting room for you.
Yes, listen, I want to have a chat with this lady, of course.
Hello.
Becky, welcome in. How are you?
I'm quite well, thank you. And both of you? How are you both doing?
We're all right. We're very well. Paul, you good?
Yeah, I'm good, thank you. Hungry, but I'm good.
Yeah, you and me both.
Eventful race, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Easy.
Well, okay, let's pick up first, right? You were at the front with George. You both decided that would be a good idea for you to leave the Ninja Turtle print on his car and him to leave the Mobo print on your car. Both made an interesting pirouette at the same time, didn't you, down in the Melbourne hairpin?
Oh, yeah, like he was going for me and I was watching him and I missed my braking point. And I assume he missed his braking point looking at me as well. And yeah,
You
we
did.
just both ran on, and I think he just let me back past because I think otherwise he would have hit me if I hadn't have run on. And yeah, it happens.
It was all a little bit
There's no
dramatic. Now,
problem.
no problem. I want to pick up on one thing as well. One thing that we questioned up here in the booth. The moment you went on them hards, it
Oh
rained.
God, I know. I just thought it'd been dry for ages. Everyone was speeding up to the back of me. I was like, I'm going to risk it. I'll change it. 15 laps on the hards, then I can either go on the wets or hards again. Whatever happens, I'm all good. Oh, it was awful. Luckily, I managed to sort of save it ish, but not really. I messed up big time. It would have been an easy win if I just stuck it out.
Yeah, I think that was the thing. That's what we were talking to Dan Kirby about. He never went on. He was wets all the way through.
Yeah, if I'd done that, it would have been plain sailing, just cruising round. And
Did
so
you-
yeah, my mistake.
Was you sat in the pits thinking, I've just put the hard tyres on and it's raining?
Yes, I was.
Did you not have the choice to change the tyres? Now, we were discussing this.
No,
Does our factor allow you?
No, it started raining as I'd just been jacked up.
So you couldn't get jacked up again and change them? Like in iRacing,
No.
right? You can change them once and then change them again.
Nope,
No.
that's it.
Told you. You didn't believe me.
Yeah, I was checking first time with a person that drives in the simulator, Paul.
I'm pretty sure that was anyway.
Well, anyway.
So I was stuck. I'd made my bed and had to just race on the hards till there was enough time left that I only had to do one stop and change onto the wets rather than having to do two more.
Okay, now
It
there
did
was
not go well.
no. The car was giving you a warning out of certain corners, right? That you were throttling a little bit early. One of them was unfortunately Goddard's, where you did end up spinning towards the end, chasing down Wayne Hutchinson, overdriving the car a little bit.
It has no traction control, and I used up all the tyres trying to get past him. I don't think it was so much I was trying to get on the power too early. It just, the tyres were dead. And it's wet, and there's no traction control. And the McLaren F1 has quite a lot of power. So, yeah, but also, yeah, just getting a bit too trigger happy, trying to make the move, going on to the last lap. And I was just lucky that it didn't actually cost me anything.
Yeah, well, look forward to seeing what you can do at Road Atlanta in the Moderns on the 21st of October. But Becky, anyone you want to shout out before we let you go?
I'll have a shout out to Yuki Takanashi taking a win in his first ever drive. So that's pretty damn impressive.
And the man on the right tyres at the right point.
Yeah, he stuck to his guns, which I didn't do, so he deserves the win.
Yeah, absolutely. Fully agree. Becky, thank you so much for joining me and look forward to possibly having a chat with you on the 21st at Road Atlanta.
Thank you. I will try my best to join you then.
Yes, please do. Take care and we'll catch up with you soon.
Okay, thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye. Well, there you go. Becky Ely there as well. Honest, got kind of strung out to dry, made a mistake, sat there, didn't really have the option to change anything, unfortunately, there, Paul. But it's been an interesting race, and pit stop strategies coming into it. We've seen a lot go on here today.
Yeah, we have, and I think sometimes there is an element of luck to it, but there also is an element of trying to take a gamble. And I think Daniel Kirby, showed us that I think you always knew it was going to rain again, but we didn't know how long that gap was going to be. And I think maybe people didn't really understand how well the wets would hold up. And if you look at the times that Dan Kirby was able to do, they held up better than I think everybody really expected. So.
Yeah, definitely there as well. Well, guys, thank you so much for joining us. Phil and Mr. Reese, welcome. Thank you so much again here for joining us throughout this. Sorry about the issues we had earlier. I'm sure Paul will get better internet for the next time.
I've worked out what it is. It's all right. I've worked out what it is. So I'll explain afterwards. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right, guys, I've been James Farmer alongside Paul Glover. I'm off to see Spurs beat Liverpool, which they did do already. Going to catch up with that one on
you
Match
just
of the
spoiled
Day.
the result. What have you done that for?
Well, I didn't know you were going to listen, did I?
Oh, right. Okay.
All right. Up
Yeah.
the mighty Spurs. For now, though, guys, from me and Paul, take care. Have a great week. And you never know, we might see you on the track sometime. Good night. Oh, what was it? Do you know? Oh, right. Okay. Have you ended the broadcast?